Hey, it's T, your joyful parent guide and harmonizer, and I'm coming in live with tip 3. If you've been following, I'm doing a series on each tip out of the 100 tips for parents in Aletha Solter's book, Raising Drug-Free Kids. And what you're going to be able to figure out from listening to these tips is what her take is, and then what my take is on her tips. So tip 3 is don't give your child alcohol or drugs. And on its face, I mean, I don't know. I don't think very many of us could argue with that. Don't give your child alcohol or drugs. But she goes into some detail about a few things, and I'm going to tease it apart. And I'm going to start with the places where I am in violent agreement with her, and then I'm going to sort of open it up into some grayer areas where I just have some other perspectives that I'd like to offer and share. So first, she says secondhand smoke has physiological effects, and they can be about the same kind of effects as actually inhaling the smoke yourself. And so, yeah, like, you know, you want to protect your kids, especially the kids that are the age that they can't protect themselves from secondhand smoke. Absolutely agree 100%. Also, she says avoid involving your kids in your own use of alcohol. Like, hey, would you go get me a beer? And I can see that too. You know, if we believe that alcohol is not for kids, depending on, you know, their age or what have you, and if that's the message that we're trying to convey, then it's okay for you to bring it to me, but it's not okay for you to have it. And, you know, you just drawing a cleaner line around I go get my own alcohol just seems to make sense. So that's all good. So here we go into the murkier territory, though, of number 1, avoid giving your child sips of alcohol. And I'm not saying that's wrong. You know, if that feels good, then that's great. But I'm just going to say that there's a whole other set of sort of alcohol-related culture over in Europe, and I'm gonna pick on France and Italy, right? Like, they are having wine as part of their family gatherings and rituals and everything, and, you know, I don't think they're giving wine to their infants and toddlers, right? But, like, from a younger age, it's a more accepted thing, and it's part of the culture. So there are models in the world where children, minors, are partaking of alcohol, and there are not the incidents of alcohol abuse and the statistics over in those cultures that we're seeing in, say, the US. So I just want to offer that out, and there are ways to do things rather than drawing a very black and white line. Now, if, you know, that's not what your heritage and your culture is, then, you know, maybe you need to create something with much more intention, because it's not the culture, if you are in the US, of where we are. The other thing that she brought up on this point in the book was about psychoactive medications, and, you know, including stimulants that are often prescribed for kids with different neurological differences, like, you know, sort of the alphabet soup, right? The ADHD, the ADD, the ODD, there's a lot. And there are different psychoactive drugs that are prescribed. So what she says is, when we give kids these medications, what we're teaching them is that it's okay to consume chemicals to modify brain patterns, behavior, and feelings. And I get that, and I get that perspective. And so I think that's a nice perspective to hear, so that if your child, and you really, you feel, you have the knowing that your child really will benefit from one of these medications, that you can talk to your child about it in a way that's different than, oh, yep, the doctor said, so we're just doing it. We're doing whatever the doctor said, and, whatever medicine we need to help you, be this way is what we're going to do. Like, there's a lot of different ways and a lot of different messages that we can give. And as parents, we are the leaders. We are the creator of the messages. And so that's a responsibility that we need to embrace and potentially grow into, if it's a new issue that we haven't experienced. We need to grow into that and plant those seeds in our families. And so it could be a message around, there's some things happening in your brain, and they are causing some of these feelings that you're having, these moods or these whatever, and we're going to try to help manage that in a certain way. Every situation is different, but all I'm saying is that I think there's a lot more possibility than drawing a black and white line. And on the one side, the doctor made me do it and everything is okay because the doctor says, and on the other side, no, we can't do this at all because it makes it okay to consume chemicals, and it's going to allow them to think that they can go out and do any drugs just to feel a certain way. I think we need to get intentional about the messages that we're conveying, and we need to get clear ourselves with why we're doing what we're doing with our kids. So I didn't really expect this tip to be so in-depth and controversial. Don't give your child alcohol or drugs. Sounds like a no-brainer. No pun intended there. But yeah, I would love to hear what is coming up for you. You can either comment, or I got a lot of DMs yesterday with that one, I can't even remember. Oh, it was realize that genetics is not destiny. I got a lot of DMs, so feel free, okay? Bring it. I would love to engage in conversation. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will pop back in with tip 4 and maybe even tip 4 and 5 on Sunday. Bye for now.